Is it really time for an historic leader to go? Hello guys, Johnny Crack TV here, and welcome to another video. I wanted to try this subject for a long time, never found a way to do it. So let's talk about one of the most recent news around the world, which is about Nelson Mandela. Now, as you may or may not know, Nelson Mandela is spending his 29th day in his fourth hospitalization in 6 months from a recurring lung infection. And, there's some people that say, oh, he can survive, let's pray. And some that just let him go. Let him go to heaven. He has done his time. And then there's just this debate, so that should we let off his life support? And it has been quite an experience. The former South African president has been going over some health issues lately. And let me get my 2 cents on this. I think that if a 94-year-old grandpa who has done so many things in a family atmosphere would want to go, then I think Nelson Mandela should go too. He has fulfilled his destiny, and it's selfish for us to want to keep him alive. Total African development and freedom will not come through one man alone. The steps required to see the fruition of these concepts are a team sport, and everyone has to play their position. It's the duty of all 1 billion people on the continent and those in the diaspora. Freedom fighters like Nelson Mandela and Steve Biko may not have been perfect. They were human, but they stood for something, so that they wouldn't fall for anything. Mandela, along with a host of others, has demonstrated the courage required to stand up for equality and freedom. We have seen it. History as it documented. Now the sons and daughters in Africa need to play their position. Despite all the sacrifice that Nelson Mandela has made, South Africa has her problems, which I used to think would disappear once good people came into power. The truth is that Africa is still indebted by agreements and policies sanctioned decades ago, and corruption is endemic. This is why even after the Black Economic Empowerment Act, until this day, wealth is still not evenly distributed among the races in South Africa. Yes, there has been some progress, but not enough. When he was released, like many people sobbed in front of the television, tears of joy, tears of sadness, tears of relief, and tears of disbelief. Emerging into South Africa were white little children who didn't know any better would sing nursery rhymes. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a N-er by the toe, and eat liquid sweets called N-balls. Tasty. Nelson Mandela preached unity and forgiveness, not revenge. In a South Africa where blacks, colored, and Asians could not use the same toilets or stand in the same queues and shops, Mandela still believed that change would come and didn't let the tsunami of bitterness surge through him after having 27 years stolen. Still labeled as a terrorist by America after the apartheid regime classed the ANC as a terrorist group in the 1960s. God in His mercy gave Mandela more years than more people in his lifetime yet, even with advances in American science. And when it's time for him to leave South Africa, has to let him go. Celebrate him, of course. The whole world will. Well, those that don't like the UKPNP leader who allegedly made comments on Twitter regarding health. It's time for the baton to be passed on and for Africans to continue their journey to reach their destiny. Many of Mandela's great sayings will be recited forever. But to get a greater appreciation of the man, I will read his long walk to freedom, which I had for a few years but never got around to reading. Now it is mid-90s. It will soon be time for Nelson Mandela to leave us. Even though hearts will be heavy as departures are never easy in this world, Africa must ensure that his efforts and those of other freedom fighters was not in vain. Team sport, remember? In 1964, while on trial for sabotage in which he faced the death penalty, Nelson Mandela addressed the courtroom from his words from what became known as the speech from the dock. He said, quote, "I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve, but if it needs be, is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. We all have to play our position and never forget the amazing life or legacy of a man born in the village of Mizeo, the first in his family to attend school where he was given the English name Nelson, and the first black South African to be democratically elected as president. I think Mandela has fulfilled his destiny." You? To keep the conversation going, so in conclusion, even as it's going to be heavy, it's time for South Africa to end an era that has been going on pretty much since I was born. Seriously. Nelson Mandela, the greatest leader, more the latest diplomatic leader in a long time.